just to kind of bring it back around for those of you that are watching on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much. I want to make sure that as you come in here, since this is now the official stream and it looks like it's working, please click like and click share on this video and send it to somebody that will find value in this message. And also, don't forget to follow We Are Soft Podcast on social media for all your visual motivational tools, as well as updates about like me and Natasha, or like updates about Spontaneity, which is a live show that I do every Tuesday at 7 p.m., which is streamed live on the Successfully Chaotic Facebook page, also YouTube, and let me see. Yeah, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Okay, just so you know. Yeah. So here's what I was discussing a little bit on Podbean. Had a little friend here come in, a cyborg cat named Tron Cat. So they're live in the chat on Podbean. But I was talking a little bit about how we identify, right? And it's so funny. Like, you ever listen to how we speak about ourselves? Like, some people be like, oh, I'm horrible with X, or I'm horrible with cleaning up, or I'm bad at doing something. You know what I mean? The issue with that is when you put I in front of something, you become it. Here's like a little funny thing. Sometimes I think about like iPhone. I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, was that like a subconscious thing? Like, now we identify as phones. Like, we're not actual people. We don't talk in person. It was like, I am a phone, you know? Anyway, there's research that shows, like, if you say you are something, you're going to operate out of that frequency. And I was thinking about it even for myself. Like, I'm trying to write this book. I'm trying to do 1,000,001 things. And I get stuck in what I heard this term used before called analysis paralysis, right? And what that is, it's the aspect of you just thinking about doing something, but not taking any action to do it. You know what I mean? Formerly known as procrastination, okay? That's like the number one thing we have issues with, right? Or some of us, especially creatives, like, we can get to these points where we're like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? You're right. Like, I hear, yeah, Stace, you're right, I should start a podcast. Or, yeah, you're right, Stace, I shouldn't talk about myself like that. Yeah, you're right, Stace, I should become a pineapple. You know, I hear like all these things, right? But then there's no action on it. It's just in the planning stage, you know? Like, even for me, I'm like, you know what? I gotta like set aside time to write this book. And you know what's funny? I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, it's a great time to write. Like, I feel good about writing in the morning, like early in the morning. But I never, like, not never. See, you gotta take out always and never. Sometimes I have a habit of thinking about it and not actually executing the task. So this is why it's so important to learn yourself and to learn what your wins are for you. Because, for example, you know, I think I've discussed this before. So for those of you that have seen or heard me discuss this, you know that I'll watch like motivational videos. I will watch how like other people manifest their dreams, or learn how to create better habits for themselves. And what ends up happening is I'm like, okay, this person got up at 5 a.m., for example. And this person started working out at 5:30. And then this person started doing this. And then this person started doing that. But the thing, what happens is we start to identify with that person. And we don't realize that those habits are for that particular person. Now, yes, it's absolutely totally fine. Hey, Sonia, thanks so much for being here. I always appreciate your support. That is my cousin. She is awesome. Thank you for being here. But yeah, like, you start to pick up those habits and you start to be like, okay, so for me, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to start working by like 5:15 and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden you skip one of those things and you're just like, oh, come on, man. You know what I mean? And then you kind of like beat yourself up about it. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get into that moment. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with trying out new habits. There's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, it's really about learning about yourself and seeing like, okay, what habit is actually going to work for me? Because not all habits are created for everyone. Like, it's just like nutrition, right? Everybody has nutrition that works best for them. Like some people be like, carbs, no, not here, not ever. Some people be like, fiber, ew, never, right? But you have to find out what works for you because everybody's body is different, just like how everybody's mind is different. You know what I mean? So although you may see Joe Schmo like, yo, look at Joe. Joe run every day, 5 a.m. I go and get the mail and Joe is out there. I see him and I told him to put a shirt on. Okay. You could be like that, right? I want to be like Joe. But like you're 76, right? Now, although you can go run like Joe, you may not be able to put in like 20 miles a day like Joe, but you could put in maybe 2 miles a day like Joe. In a sense, you have to find out what works best for you, you know? So for me, I had to realize like, okay, like, although the fantasy is to wake up early and to get all these things done, it may not work by me like implementing it all at the same time. You know what I mean? It's really important to acknowledge and be aware of what your habits are and then be like, okay, and this is why it's important to call it a habit and not to identify as it. For example, do not say you're lazy. Do not say you're a habitual procrastinator. I used to hear people say that. I'm like, yes, you could say there is a habit with me of procrastinating, or I have a habit of doing X, Y, and Z, because then you're not going to operate out of that frequency. You know what I mean? So it's really important to do that, like so important. And of course, that alone is not going to fix everything for you. You know, it's really about getting out of that analysis paralysis thing. That's what I was saying on Podbean. So all my Podbean folks, shout out to you. I appreciate you guys joining live on Podbean. If you guys want to get the Podbean app, you go ahead and download it on your phone. And you could also listen live to this show on Podbean, as well as other episodes of Whistle Podcast. You can go and follow me on there. So make sure you click like and click share. Hey, that rhymes. Anyway, so yeah, it's very important to not attach those things and get into that moment of analysis paralysis. And that's why it's so important, like we discussed yesterday on Successfully Chaotic, how important it is to take that first step, because then by taking that first step, it's going to reveal the next step for you. You know what I mean? And it can be tough. Change is not the easiest thing to adapt to. It's really not. And that's why so many businesses make so much money, because they know that humans have this habit of not changing. And it takes time to implement change. It takes time. You know, sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you meet a couple days and then sometimes you don't. Like I used to have this habit of like beating myself up, but like, yo, you were supposed to get up at 6 o'clock and you press snooze. How dare you? Why'd you do that? You know, you were supposed to be up. You know, I used to like beat myself up about that. And then I realized, well, why am I going to do that? You know, there's a billion people in this world that could be like, you suck. You know what I mean? Why am I going to be the billion and ones? I don't even know what that number would be. Billion and one? I don't know. Somebody let me know. How you, like, if it's billion and one, is whatever. Yeah. So the billion and one person to speak about yourself that way. You know what I mean? So it's really about, like I said, identifying what your habits are. That's number one. What is the habit that you're looking to change? And focus on that particular habit, because I know I have a habit of trying to fix 10 habits. I'll like make a list and I'm like, okay, we need to fix all 10 in like 2 days. That's not realistic. It's not realistic. It's like creating this path to not succeed. You know what I mean? So work on one habit at a time. So one, identify your habit. 2, focus on that particular habit and give yourself time to implement it. Like what is the number one thing I always talk about? Working out, right? Because we all have that. You know, one thing I love, and this is not a paid promotion, okay? But one thing I love about using my Peloton is that, like, if I get a ride in, it'll be like, okay, you've been 7 weeks straight. You know what I mean? Congratulations. Or even on Apple Watch, like, it'll be like, okay, keep it up. It shows me my metrics for the day before. And it's like, okay, look, you did well yesterday. Let's try it again today. You know what I mean? That's kind of like how you want to focus and talk to yourself. You know, pick something that you're working on. Like, I was actually reading today that the brain actually can be affected by lack of hydration, in a sense where just 2%, what is it? Just 2%, I believe. Let me see. Hold on. Let me find this. Hydration and the brain. Like just 2%, right? Let me see. It says, okay, your brain is strongly influenced by your hydration status. Okay, this is from healthline.com. Studies show that even mild dehydration, such as the loss of 1 to 3% of body weight, can impair many aspects of brain function. In a study in young women, researchers found that fluid loss of 1.4% after exercise impaired both mood and concentration. So what does that tell you about water intake and how it affects you? Like, you know what the crazy thing is? Give me a minute. I know Celia, if she's here, she's gonna laugh at me. I gotta drink some water. But like, for me, like sometimes like I forget to drink water, right? I don't know about you guys. Let me know. Do you guys ever forget to drink water and you like drink coffee or like seltzer or like juice? You're like, I got juice. You know what I mean? But like, we all have these, some of us have these habits, right? And what ends up happening is we don't realize that how important these basics are. Like for me, I have a habit of drinking Red Bull, okay? It doesn't happen every day. Just days like today. You know, sometimes I'm just like, all right, I gotta drink Red Bull. I feel a little, I want to feel that pick me up. You know what I mean? But the thing is, that's awesome. So Sonia drinks alkaline water, which is awesome. And that is a great thing to drink, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, for hydration, to affect your hydration levels. So you want to make sure you're aware of these things, right? It's very important to be aware of these things because think about it. If you don't even start your day with a glass of water, right? You don't drink any water. How are you going to think clearly? How are you going to affect, you know, or work on creating new habits? You know what I mean? So that's why like I try and like focus not only as a reminder for myself, but as a reminder for you. And shout out to Sonia, my cousin Sonia, because I remember I was live one day and she's like, drink water, my cousin, drink water. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So shout out to you and shout out to Maria Daniels because it gives, I could hear you guys in my head saying to drink more water. And it's really important because you want to make sure you're firing at all cylinders, right? Sometimes I used to say that to myself, like, Stacey, like, what can you do today to fire at all cylinders? Like everybody knows what they need to start a great day. Why would you want to start your day angry? Why would you want to start your day in a mood that's going to not help you to work at your best? You have to ask yourself those questions. Like, why would I do that to myself? You know, sometimes we do it subconsciously. You know, think about this. Let me know if any of these sayings sound familiar to you. Oh, geez. You know, now there's traffic. Like, this is how my day's starting. Like, oh, now I'm going to be late to work. This day sucks, right? If those things sound familiar to you, you're starting your day off at a disadvantage already based on what you're speaking into existence. The thing is, why not say, you know what? There's traffic today. Not a worry. I'm patient. Let me turn on some music to put me in a good mood. Let me turn on my favorite podcast. That's Waste Off Podcast. Hey. Anyway, so let me do something that's going to put me in a good mood. Why would you want yourself to start off at a disadvantage? I'll tell you this. Back in the day, I used to be that person. I used to be a person that would wake up angry. You ever wake up angry? I used to wake up angry and be like, why do I have to go to this job? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? And I would start myself at a low. And that's not fair to you. You know, it's not fair to you. You want to put yourself, that's one thing. You want to fire at all cylinders. So you want to drink your water, put yourself in a positive mindset, because you know, like what we've talked about here before, attitude is everything. I don't care if you're sweeping the floor or you're the CFO or the CEO, you're a doctor, a lawyer. I don't care if you're a snail, okay? Attitude is everything. So if you start your day like crap, you are going to feel like crap. It's literally that. It's that simple. But I want to leave with this thought. For the rest of your week, be very aware of yourself. Like, focus on how you wake up in the morning. Make sure there's a glass of water by your bed, or get yourself one of these. This is actually really awesome. I think my girlfriend got it off of Amazon. It's made by Brita, and it has a filter in it. So you could take regular water from the sink, and it has like a carbon filter in here, and it filters the water as you drink it. Look at that. They didn't have this in 1922. They didn't. But you know what's funny? I remember when she told me about this, I was like, I don't want your little water bottle. It looks like a baby bottle. It's got like a nipple on it. Like, I'm not drinking out of that. And now I'm over here like, you know what I mean? At least I'm hydrated. But the thing is, be aware of yourself, most importantly. The thing is, some of us, we tend to look so outwardly. We're like, oh, this is not working out for me. My life sucks. I don't do anything. You know what I mean? Let's take the love and shine it on you and be like, what's my next step? What do I want? What am I working towards? Because humans operate best on forward momentum. You know what I mean? Working towards a goal, working towards something, right? So if you focus on habit forming, that is your something, you know? So let's do that. Let's drink more water. Let's focus on habits that's going to help us get to the next level, right? Remember, we're going to identify the habit that we want to change, and then we're going to focus on that habit. Just give it like a month and then see what happens. See how you feel. You know what I mean? And then work on that. That's the only thing you can do. You can't fix all of them, but you could fix one at a time. And let me tell you, I guarantee you will see another side of yourself like, oh, snap, I'm not stuck in analysis paralysis. I'm over here taking action. And it's okay if you miss a couple days. It's okay if you miss a couple steps, but you have to celebrate those little wins and be like, oh, snap, I worked out today. No way. You know, you got to applaud yourself. You know what I mean? Because because you can't wait for somebody else to applaud you. You can't go to somebody else that sits on the couch all day and be like, yo, Joe. Like I was messing around today with my girlfriend with this boy. He's like, hey, man, I worked out today, man. Like, dude's going to be like, hey, good for you. And you'd be like, why aren't you proud of me? It's not their job to be proud of you. You got to be proud of you. So don't forget that. So for your midweek pick me up, we're going to work on our habits. We're going to drink more water because we don't want to have that fluid loss where we're going to experience issues with our brain function. We want to make sure that we're firing at all cylinders. We're going to eat our fruits and vegetables. We're going to sometimes eat fast food, but not all the time. We're going to be great. Okay. We're going to be great because we are great. You know what it is? We are already great. You just have to believe it. Just remember that. Don't worry about what anybody says. You focus on you and you stay in your lane and drive maybe only 5 over the speed limit. Don't go more than that. Ain't nobody got time to be blowing tires out on these potholes on Long Island. Okay? Guys, I want to thank you so much again for being here. Please click like and share on this video. I hope to inspire and to continue to inspire you to create habits of purpose and habits to be great and habits to be successful in anything you do. Make sure you check out the previous episodes of Pryce on Purpose. I had last week Tiffany Mosher on. I hope I pronounced her name right. She is the author of this awesome book called Beyond Beauty, The Threshold. Yep. Sorry. How am I reading the book wrong? The title's right in front of me. It's called Beauty Beyond the Threshold. And let me tell you something about this book. This book is crazy. I mean it in a compliment-driven way, because it really shows. Let me tell you something. If you want to read something, okay, you can find this book on Amazon. If you want to read something that's going to help inspire you and embrace spontaneity, like we discuss on Spontaneity, that show is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. If you want to learn somebody's story about being vulnerable and admitting certain things about themselves and habit forming, read this book. I'm about a little less than halfway through. I got to finish that book, and hopefully I'll have her on again. She already agreed, so I'll have her on again. And what other news do I have to deliver to you? Yeah, so remember, Tuesdays, we do Spontaneity Live with Maria Daniels, Sean Dustin, and myself, as well as every Wednesday at 4:55 p.m. We're live here for Waste Off Wednesday with me, Stacey Pryce, Pryce on Purpose. We're over here manifesting dreams and being the best that we can be. Once again, I appreciate you all. My social media is Waste Off Podcast, so go ahead and follow that. I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Ta-ta for now.